Happy Friday and welcome to this week's episode of Sports Corner. I'm Cole Young, and between the Super Bowl, Olympics, basketball, and much more, there's a ton to cover this week, so I'll get right to it. Starting out with possibly the biggest annual sporting event, the Super Bowl. After 5 long months of the regular season and postseason, the NFL came to its conclusion this past weekend in the Super Bowl. The New England Patriots and Seattle Seahawks met at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California to compete for the Lombardi Trophy and the title of world champions. I'll be completely honest, this game started out painfully slow. On the first drive of the game, the Seahawks moved the ball well and got on the board quickly, jumping out to a 3-0 lead after a 33-yard field goal by Jason Myers. I hate to say it, but field goals would be the only points scored for a long time. The Seahawks would go on to kick 3 more field goals throughout the second and third quarter, taking a 12-0 lead right before the start of the fourth quarter. While not much offense was being played, the Seahawks defense was the true highlight of this game. Patriots quarterback and MVP runner-up Drake May was sacked 5 times in each of New England's first 3 playoff games, and Seattle did the Los Angeles Chargers, Houston Texans, and Denver Broncos one better by sacking him 6 times in the Super Bowl. When the third quarter finished, the Patriots had just 78 yards of total offense and as many first downs, 5, as the Seahawks had sacks. Byron Murphy, who had 7 sacks in the regular season, posted 2. Derek Hall matched his regular season sack total with 2. Fifth-round rookie Riley Mills, who played in only 4 regular season games and didn't get a sack in any of them, had 1. And the last one came on a cornerback blitz from Devin Witherspoon. A touchdown was finally scored with 13 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter when Sam Darnold found tight end A.J. Barner in the end zone from 16 yards out to give the Seahawks a 19-0 lead. After not scoring a single point through over 3 quarters, the Patriots finally found the end zone in just 3 plays. May connected with Mac Hollins for a 24-yard pass, followed by a 35-yard pass to the end zone, again to Hollins, to cut the lead to 19-7. Patriots forced the Seahawks to punt on the ensuing drive. It looked like we might actually get a close game after all. The Pats were putting together a decent-looking drive until Drake May's deep pass was intercepted by Julian Love. After another field goal, the Seahawks were up 22-7, and the Patriots got the ball back with a little over 5 minutes remaining in the game. While the odds were stacked against them, it was still just a 2-score game and a comeback was technically possible. That is, until May's pass was intercepted again, and this time Uchenna Nwosu returned it for a touchdown. The Seahawks sat with a 29-7 lead, and this game was just about sealed. Ramondre Stevenson would score a receiving touchdown late in the game, and after the failed 2-point conversion, the score sat at 29-13, and the Super Bowl was complete. I predicted that the Seahawks would win this game with a strong pass game, but that was not necessarily the case. Darnold finished his day completing just 50% of his passes for 200 yards and 1 touchdown. But Kenneth Walker led the team, racking up 135 yards on 27 carries. Rightfully so, Walker was named Super Bowl MVP. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks on winning their 2nd Lombardi Trophy in franchise history. Now that the Super Bowl is complete and football season is officially over, it's time to shift focus towards college basketball. March Madness will start before we know it, but the madness has already begun. Last week, the University of Portland Pilots sent shockwaves throughout the NCAA when they upset number 6 Gonzaga 87-80. The victory ended the Pilots' 30-game losing streak against top 10 teams, while the Bulldogs lost to a team with a losing record for the first time since January of 2011, ending a streak of 141 straight wins. The Pilots made 66% of their shots inside the arc and 44% of their 3-point attempts. Portland freshman Joel Foxwell finished with a game-high 27 points, outdueling Gonzaga star Graham Ike, who led his team with 24 points. Gonzaga's last lead came at the 6:55 mark of the first half, and they led by 2. It didn't last. Late in the second half, Portland led by as many as 15 points. The shocking upsets didn't end there, though. Number 9 Kansas handed number 1 Arizona their first loss of the season, beating Arizona 82-78. Flory Badunga, Bryson Tiller, and Melvin Council Jr. combined to score 64 points for Kansas to beat Arizona, who entered Monday ranked top 5 in offense and defense. Kansas became the first team in the past 30 seasons to beat a number 1 ranked opponent, despite not having a 20-point per game scorer. Arizona still sits as the number 1 team in the country with a 22-1 record, and will still most likely be the number 1 seed in the bracket starting next month. In women's hoops, not too surprisingly, UConn is the top team in the country, and it isn't particularly close. The Huskies currently have a perfect 25-0 record. They have 41 consecutive wins, the longest active streak in Division I, and their 5th win streak of 40-plus games or longer in program history. For context, all other Division I programs have 6 such streaks combined. Naturally, they currently are the top team in the poll and will almost certainly retain the top seed in the championship tournament in a few weeks. Not too far behind them, though, are our neighbors up the freeway, the UCLA Bruins. The Bruins are 9-1 against ranked opponents this season. That lone loss came against number 4 Texas at the Players Era Women's Championship on November 26th. Those 9 ranked wins are the most by any Division I team this season. The madness for both men and women will begin around St. Patrick's Day, so stay tuned for any more major upsets throughout college basketball over the next few weeks. Sticking with basketball, with all the sports world focused on the Super Bowl, the NBA trade deadline flew a little bit under the radar. However, a lot of pretty major trades happened. I'll rattle off some of the biggest trades. The Dallas Mavericks sent Anthony Davis along with Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum to the Washington Wizards in exchange for Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, and Marvin Bagley III, plus a handful of draft picks. Then, the Golden State Warriors traded away Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield to the Atlanta Hawks, receiving Kristaps Porzingis in return. Our local Lakers traded Gabe Vincent and a 2032 second-round pick to the Atlanta Hawks to get three-point shooter Luke Kennard. What was the biggest blockbuster deal of the week? The Cleveland Cavaliers picked up James Harden in exchange for Darius Garland and a future second-round pick. There were a handful of other trades throughout the week, but the one superstar that was suspected of being traded, Giannis Antetokounmpo, was not. He will remain in Milwaukee for probably the remainder of his contract. To close the show, I couldn't not talk about one of my favorite sporting events, the Winter Olympics. So I figured I'd bring you up to speed on what's happened with Team USA to this point. Ilya Meninin, known as the Quad God, took first place in the men's figure skating short program. The next phase of the men's singles and figure skating will take place today. As a whole, the U.S. figure skating team earned gold. The U.S. women's hockey team improved to 4-0 in these Olympic Games with a 5-0 rout of rival Canada. The U.S. has now wrapped up its preliminary round games. Corey Dropkin and Corey TC took home silver in mixed doubles curling. TC made history as the first American woman to earn an Olympic medal in curling. Michaela Schifrin and Breezy Johnson finished bronze in alpine skiing women's team combined. However, Johnson took home gold for women's downhill. Ben Ogden earned a silver medal in men's sprint cross-country skiing. Alex Hall also got silver in men's slopestyle skiing, and Ashley Farquharson earned bronze in women's singles luge. As of Thursday morning, the U.S. currently sits in third place with 13 total medals. Hopefully, we'll pick up some more over the weekend. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Sports Corner. As always, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy all of the basketball, hockey, Olympics, and much more that this weekend has to offer. Come right back next Friday for more news, updates, and highlights from all across the sports world. I'm Cole Young. Happy Valentine's Day, and I'll see you next time.